What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by for another edition of March 4th with Mike Bauman. I, of course, am your host, Mike Bauman. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening from, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you're a returning listener, I greatly appreciate your continued love and support. And if you're a brand new listener of the show, thank you so much for hopping aboard that pirate ship. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod. I am also on YouTube, TikTok, and what else am I on? At March 4th Pod. The link tree with all of my stuff is in the podcast description for this episode. So that means if you made it here, then you found me somehow. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to check out another edition of the March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. How is everybody doing? Happy New Year to all of you, to you and yours. I hope that everybody is doing great. Sorry, I'm going to adjust my mic here a little bit. I did some much needed cleaning up, man, and so I had to readjust and move some stuff around, and had to adjust my mic a little bit. But I hope everybody's doing well. I want to make sure I'm not just throttling your eardrums right now with my vocal cords. Turn down the main mix a little bit there. But happy New Year to everybody, man. 2026, here we go, baby. So it's a new year, which means hopefully new habits, new goals, a clean slate, whatever analogy you want to use, turn the page, turn the chapter, a blank canvas, you got it. You know what I mean? So genuinely, though, I hope that whatever goals that you have, whether they're internal, external, things about yourself that you want to change, new things and new experiences that you want to try in 2026. I hope that you take the steps to going towards those and achieving them. And I just hope that this is your best year yet for everybody. And this has been such a fun journey for me doing this podcast. We're coming up on almost 6 years since I've been doing this bad boy consistently. Started it way back in 2012. For those of you who are brand new to it, it was Bauman's Breakdown way back in the day. So rebranded her in 2019 as March 4th with the mantra of perseverance and moving forward. And over the last 6 years, I've really gotten to connect with some really awesome people. And we're coming up on 200 episodes, which we will cross that threshold. If you stay on board the pirate ship in February, will be episode 200. So it's cool, man. I'm really grateful for all the wonderful people that I get to speak with on this podcast. It's been an awesome journey. It's very fulfilling for me to have a platform where I can not only hopefully put people on to new music if it's a musical artist, but also have conversations where we tap into mental health, things like anxiety, depression, OCD tendencies. I've struggled with those things in my life, and therapy's been a big help for me. And this is a year for myself personally where I just want to hold myself more accountable, to let going of the old and ushering in new habits with a lot of things in my life, but especially in that area. And even though I've come a long way over the past few years, especially, we're all works in progress. And I think it's just loving yourself and being gentle with yourself, but also holding yourself accountable and going, okay, if I really want to get better and keep going in the right direction, I want to have the discipline and put in the work and do the steps that I need to do to really turn over a new leaf, man. So I hope that in your life this year that you guys have the discipline and enough love for yourself and what you want your life to look like and how you want to be in your life, that you can make whatever changes that you want to make as well. And if you had great momentum in 2025, I hope it carries over into the new year. And speaking of great momentum in 2025, this week's guest is an artist that I have wanted to get on the show for several months now. And I'm a one-man band over here, man. So, I schedule the podcast, I edit, record, upload, do the shorts and the reels and et cetera, et cetera. I do it all myself, right? This is my passion project. So sometimes it takes a little bit long for some things to develop. And obviously bands have their own touring and schedules and working on music and such. But this artist is an artist I have a lot of respect for. Not only do they appeal to my love for heavy music, but they're also big proponents of mental health as well. They are none other than Seaside Massacre. They originated and formed back in 2019. They're out of Sacramento, California. They're a metallic hardcore band, so if you're into bands like Hatebreed, August Burns Red, Terror, these guys will definitely be in your wheelhouse. And actually, between bands that they've either toured or played shows with, and same part of the country, shout out BLVKOUT and Resider, friends and guests of the pod. Um, they toured, played shows. This past year in 2025, they toured with Blackout. They have a show coming up this Friday. Um, that Resider is going to be a part of. But 2025 was a really big year for Seaside Massacre, not only between live gigs, but they released an awesome cover of Destroy Everything from Hatebreed, as well as an accompanying music video. And they released their latest single, First Blood, just a few months ago, back in September. And right out the gate, it's done awesome. I want to say on Spotify, which I use for my music streaming, it's over 22,000 streams. The music video, I believe, is also over 22,000 views on YouTube. The music video for Destroy Everything that they did, that Hatebreed cover, is over, I think, 23,000 views. So, not bad for a band that's doing their thing, man, and putting their name out to more people. And on this conversation in particular, we got vocalist Don Turner. Awesome dude. We had a great conversation just about not only the formation of Seaside Massacre, but how he got into music, how he perseveres through his own mental health. So we talk about that. We talk about men's mental health. We talk about how music and heavy music is a really big catharsis, and just the momentum that Seaside Massacre has built over the last couple of years. We talk about Venom and Vixen. Some of their representation. We talk about 2024. Their Shells EP came out that year. They later released a deluxe version of that. Um, I can't say enough good things about this band. Really love their song Doom. Obviously, First Blood, the latest single, Guy in the Sunshine, Summer's Over, Shells, the Destroy Everything color or cover rather. These guys are just they're releasing a lot of bangers and there's a lot of emotion behind it. And it was cool to connect with Don and talk about how much music means to him as well, and how much heavy music means to him, and how excited they are for this headlining show that they're going to be doing this Friday, January 9th. That's going to be at Goldfield Roseville in California. That's also going to feature friends and former guests of the pod, Resider, as well as HellHeart, Still Counting, Mythnautica, and Trachea. So just positive vibes all the way around. And it was just so awesome to finally get Don on the show. So without further ado, I'm going to shut my big yapper and give you guys my conversation with vocalist Don Turner of Seaside Massacre. Here it is. Alrighty, there we go. Well, Don, like we were just shooting the breeze before the jump, man. It's I'm excited to finally get you on here. I've literally been wanting to do this for like 8 months since I talked to Jay. Shout out BLVKOUT, but you guys have done touring with them. You're playing a lot of awesome shows, a lot of rich musical history in California and even Sacktown, where you're from, man. So I appreciate you joining me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Mike. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, dude. I'm geeked out to do this because I'm genuinely a fan of y'all's sound. The metalcore influence and the hardcore influence. It's like so in my wheelhouse. And what I love about what you guys are doing is that I feel like it translates. Even though I haven't seen a live show yet, and that's I definitely want to see you guys live, man. But I feel like the songs that you guys make translate really well to the live stage, and even the energy in the music videos that I got to check out. It's just really awesome. But where I want to start with you, dude, is what was the heavy music rabbit hole moment for you? Like, how far does this go back? When did the aggressive heavy music bug bite you? Because I always tell people I feel like it's the Spider-Man meme. When you meet like a fellow metalhead out there, you're like, hey, he gets it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So growing up, I don't have any brothers or sisters, but I have a cousin. Shout out Nathan. He's like a month younger than me, so he has an older brother named Michael. Also, shout out Michael. And when we were kind of coming up, Michael would always he'd be like he wouldn't burn CDs because it was kind of past that, but he would like burn USB drives. So he'd put all kinds of like he'd be on LimeWire and whatever else, and just filling up these USB drives with all kinds of like obscure metal, and he would just like give them to us like it's our birthday, and he's like, "Hey man, I got you this," and it's got like 10,000 hours of like black metal on it. I'm like, no, I didn't even know this much black metal existed, but here we go, baby. But yeah, so I would say probably about like, 12, 13 years old. Me and Nathan started really getting into like hair metal, 80s music, Van Halen, Rat, all that good stuff, man. The just all the icons back then. We'd always try to find something kind of obscure so we could be like, "Oh, did you know about Striper?" Stuff like that. But the heavy music came in probably when I was about 15 or 16. Started listening to bands like Obituary, Cannibal Corpse. And before that, I was always kind of like, I don't know. I'm not really into like the heavier stuff, the screaming kind of, I don't know if it's for me. I don't know what clicked one day, man, but it just kind of popped on one day and I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, this is true intensity right here. And I had really no aspirations of like being a heavy metal vocalist, but here we are.
So you started with like the really gnarly stuff then, like black metal and death metal.
Yeah. Yeah, before I even really liked it too. Like I would listen to it, of course, but I was like, I don't know, this is a little bit much. Like let me go put on Dio. Let me go put on Black Sabbath. Like this is what I'm about. And then one day, like I said, when the switch flipped, I went back to those USB drives. And I was like, he was kind of cooking with these. These are tough.
So who are some of like your I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but it's a real skill to be able to do those guttural like hardcore screams and growls and not just destroy your voice. So it's kind of a two-part question like when did you first like really realize like, oh, I can do this, I can preserve it, but I can actually do it. And then who are some guys that you look up to or inspire you? And they don't even necessarily have to be in that vein because you just mentioned like Dio and stuff, and the all the '80s metal is so awesome. Shout out Accept. I feel like people don't talk about them as much. They're sick, but yeah, kind of a two-parter. Like, when did you really realize you could do it, Don? And then, like, who are some of your vocalists, like, regardless of genre, that you really look up to?
Yeah, man. So my first band was a band called Cataclysmic Assault. We were so thrash metal, dude. Back in my elitist days, had the long hair. I started that band when I was, I think, 17, and I played just strictly guitar. That was my first love was guitar. So started that one. Just wanted to play thrash metal. Just wanted to play true metal. As, as all kids that age do. And we got a vocalist and he was really gnarly. He sounded great. I had no idea how he did any of that. And I was like, that's fantastic. That's all you, brother. Like, I'm just gonna shred. And a little bit later into that band's life cycle, I started kind of getting into like backing vocals. It just kind of started as like shouts, like one or two words. And then we'd go into the studio and record. And there was a few songs where I was doing like high screams on them. I was like, that's kind of tough. I kind of like that. Like, it feels cool to have your voice on a song because it's like forever. It's always going to be there. And so I started a side project off that one called Atomic Flounder. And in that one, that was just going to be straight up hardcore punk, kind of a departure from the metal. So I brought Nathan and a few of my other friends on, and I was the singer and the bassist. And we just had fun with it. It was nothing too serious, but the more we progressed down that route, the more I was getting into the actual techniques of how to scream and how to, like you said, preserve your voice. Cause I was not doing that at first, man. I was just going out there shouting as loud as I could. And then I'd be hoarse for like a week. I'm like, that's so sick, dude. That sounded great. It was not great. But yeah, so I just kind of started building off of that and kind of realizing what worked and what didn't work. And then there was a point in time where Atomic Flounder kind of swapped over to Seaside Massacre. We had some of the same guys that are in the band now. A few of them, went in different directions, but we realized we wanted to be like an actual metalcore band with actual like screaming. We wanted to do it upright, no more hardcore punk. Shout out to hardcore punk, but it just, it was a change of seasons. And so, I really wanted to start trying to take it seriously. So I just looked up a ton of YouTube videos, a lot of Phil Bozeman videos. That's my goat right there, Phil Bozeman. He is the end all be all deathcore vocalist. There's a lot of people that came after him that are, maybe more popular, but Phil Bozeman is the guy for me. Watching guys like CJ McMahon from Thy Art is Murder, just these really low guttural screams. It just hits you in the chest, man. And something about that really spoke to me. You know, I'm big on fry screams. I love them. Jay from Blackout, shout out Jay. He's so good at fry screams. And we're on tour over the summer. We're trying to teach each other our vocal styles, but I couldn't do it, man. Can't do the fry screams. They're not for me. but um, but yeah, my favorite band of all time is August Burns Red. So Jake Lures is also right up there with Phil Bozeman. Just in terms of consistency over the past 20 plus years, the ability to go high to low, to play a full set and then be able to come off stage and just talk like a regular person and not like you've been smoking a pack a day for 10 years. You know what I mean? Guys like that have always just really spoke to me.
Yeah, shout out to those dudes, man. And Phil, I feel like he messed people up in a good way when they did Hickory Creek, man. They're like slowed it down and to still have it be like a heavy song lyrically and just hit you like right in your like in your bones, man. And then towards the end where he screams it out and they kind of kick in and get heavy a little bit, like that was it was cool to see them do like a slow one like that and still have it be like really powerful and heavy. And like you said, August Burns Red for so long has just been sick and consistent. They're on my bucket list to see live. I'm trying to think if they came through Nashville this past year with somebody. That's one of the great things about living here. Just kind of like where you are in Cali, like if it's not a show in Sacramento or that area, you can probably drive a little bit and be able to see some really sick shows. But there's so many awesome artists that come through Nashville because it's a music city. But yeah, Whitechapel and August Burns Red are still on the live bucket list for me that I need to see, man.
Yeah, they put on amazing shows. And beyond just being like exceptional vocalists, they're amazing frontmen too. That's something that's always spoke to me too, is it doesn't really matter if you're the greatest screamer or whatever. Like if you go up there and you put on a really good show, I'm gonna be a fan regardless. Because I go to shows to see a show. I love the music, but if I want to hear it perfect, I'm just gonna put on the record in the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so for y'all, man, I mean, what's it just been like this past like I would say like year and a half? Because just since you guys came on my radar, and I'm trying to think if you came on my radar right around the same time as Blackout. Because shout out to A Moment's Notice and Resider. Resider is going to be on the show that you guys are playing in January. When this comes out, it'll be a few days away. We're still in 2025 as we're recording this, but this is going to be in the future. This will be 2026. But I mean, what's it been like, man? Because just from following you guys from a distance on Instagram, like there's been a lot of live shows. I feel like for you guys to really cut your teeth and work on like that live experience, man. And it's been cool to see from a distance.
Yeah, man. It's been great. So about almost 2 years ago, not quite, maybe call it a year and a half and change. We got on with our management company, same management company that Blackout's on, Venom and Vixen. We call them V&V for short. And they really have like reined in what we've been trying to do for the past. Seaside's been around since 2019. We're a pre-pandemic band, but we weren't really doing much even pre-pandemic. We're just playing really small shows and we were trying, but we didn't know. We were just throwing things at the wall and seeing what happened. And then I don't know, man. By the grace of God, Mickey, he kind of been keeping an eye out on the band for a little while, and we played Goldfield Roseville. It was actually 2 years ago. So our show coming up at Goldfield Roseville on the 9th is going to be 2 years and 3 days to the date where we officially met Mickey and Tiffany. And he approached us and he saw potential in us, and they've really both helped us just rein in what we've been trying to do for the past 6 years, 7 years, whatever it's been. And they've just kind of shown us like this is where you need to go, this is how you apply that. And we've met so many great people, and not only the Sacramento music scene, but just any of the places we've played. We met so many great musicians, so many great bands. I could sit here and shout them all out, but it'd be a 3 day long podcast, man. But like you said, the guys in A Moment's Notice, Greg's been really great to us, giving us all kinds of information. He's always been a champion for the local scene. Same with Ryan Brown from Titan out here. Super great people out here that are all just really looking out for each other. And they've shown us, the way, so to speak, a lot. And we've just been trying to apply everything we've learned. And super, super grateful that we've had the chance to even play any of these shows. There's a lot of people that never really get the opportunity to play anything like this, and we're just so grateful to be in the position we're in. We're hungry and we just want more. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, it's great when when you see people that kind of like can take you under their wing, because sometimes you hear horror stories about the music business and just the entertainment business in general, but there's still so many good people. So shout out V&V, man, and yeah, it really has been cool from a distance to see you guys doing your thing. And shells I want to talk about with you. Number one, like I got to ask you about the artwork because the artwork is really sick. Like I love like simple but like ominous, and I feel like you guys captured that. Um, and I love how the deluxe one is just kind of like almost sort of like the inverse. It's still like that same image, but kind of like the inverse. But shells is really sick, man. I mean, each song is great. I really love just because I am, even though I'm like a metalcore guy too, and like a really good like heavy music fan. I love kind of a little more than like halfway through Doom, you guys kind of like slow it down and do like the clean guitar part, which was really sick. But Summer's Over, The Bay, Old Death, A New Grave. It turned out sick, man. Like, what was it like putting that together? Because I feel like um that has been something that it looks like has been kind of almost like central to everything that's happening, man. Like just coinciding with all these live shows and everything over this last year and a half.
Yeah, man. So the original 4 songs off of the original Shells, we've had those since about 2019. We kinda came into like, when we rebranded to Seaside Massacre, we wanted to put out Shells back then. We just didn't have the ability or the drive to, but we had the concept in mind. Each song was meant to be like a different, like, personal chapter in everybody's lives. So Doom is actually about, Jake, our, uh, guitarist, songwriter. It's about his mother, the his mother passed unfortunately, and, he struggled a lot with his mental health when it came to that, and, it gave him an outlet to kinda get some of those feelings out and kind of express himself, and Summer's Over was mine, just a lot of grief growing up and that feeling of like when summer vacation's over, summer's over. It was meant to be a very personal, deep project, and we didn't want to half-ass it. We didn't want to record it at home and put out something that just wasn't great. So we took our time with it. We workshopped the songs live for a lot of years. And thankfully, one day, Tom Jimenez from Audio Edge Recordings, I'm pretty sure I said his last name wrong, but don't tell anybody. But he approached us, and he'd been kind of watching what we were doing too. And he was super eager to work with us. And he's an amazing producer. I got all the love in the world for Tom. He helped us bring the idea for Shells and Shells Deluxe to life, and we will be eternally grateful to him for helping us just make that what it is.
How did y'all come up with the artwork concept? Because it's that's pretty cool. That almost looks like it could also be like the cover like of a horror movie. Like if I was in the movie theater and you're walking by all the movie posters, I'd look and I'd be like, "Yo, Shells, I got to see that."
Yeah, that's kind of what we were going for. So we made all the art ourselves for this one. We're just trying to figure out something that would kind of like express the ideas of grief, guilt, betrayal. We're kind of trying to think of like a centralized mascot because we grew up with the older bands. You got Eddie from Iron Maiden, you got Vic Rattlehead from Megadeth. We kind of wanted to go down our route, having our own little mascot. So the ghost is named Cecil. Shout out to Rex for naming Cecil. And we just kind of wanted to play off of that, you know what I mean? Kind of that old school kind of vibe, like you said, like a movie poster or something. Like if you pass by, you're like, is that a movie? Is that an album? Like, what's going on here? So we just kind of played around with that and tried to incorporate a lot of like the color schemes that we felt were just very like on like kind of on par with the feelings of grief, the feelings of anger, just kind of what would you look like if you were going through that? That's kind of what we were going for.
Did it and thanks again, Don, so much for doing this, man. I'm loving talking with you.
Pleasure,
Did it
brother.
a minute as far as like being able to be vulnerable like lyrically and especially performing it, man, because I mean you hear bands talk about songs are like it's like your babies, you know what I mean, and it's like you love them, but then it's like how are they going to be received? Like did you ever struggle with either anxiety on stage or performing like or how long did it take you to really, I guess, kind of beyond the vocal ability to be able to get in front of people and do that? Because those are two different modalities, man, between being like in the studio or jamming with the band and like being on stage and like translating that energy and grabbing people, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It took a while for that to really click properly. Like I said, I was going up there and shouting and stuff, and that was more in the vein of like just having fun, good time. But when we wrote these really deep and like personal songs, I knew I had to really lock in for that. And it's, I have a pre-show routine, a little ritual. I get myself in a mindset to where I want to make sure that what I'm feeling is expressed through what I'm doing. I don't want to ever go up there and phone it in or, half-ass it and make it seem like, it's just trying to give you a product. Like I want you to feel how I felt when I wrote those songs. That doesn't necessarily mean I feel that way right now or whatever, but like I put myself where as close as I can to where I was mentally when I wrote those songs. And I just try to give that out to the audience so if they are feeling that way, or if they know somebody that's feeling that way, that they can kind of have that outlet and they can feel that they're not alone, that they're not the only person in the world that's ever felt that way.
Hell yeah, man. Like, and I think that's something that, people who are outside of metal don't always see. Like they hear the heavy, riffs or the blast beats or the vocals, and they hear and see anger. And yes, there's a lot of anger in it, but like it's also like it's huge catharsis. Like I mean, I repeat myself a lot generally, but really like the best way I always describe it to people is a positive release of negative emotion. Like that's like I remember being a kid when my parents got divorced and listening to heavy music, corn, like, just, being in those awkward like teen tween years. And I just, when I was younger, I looked like Dwight Schrute and I had the bifocals and you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like those bands like spoke to me and they like embraced, you know what I mean? Like everybody, that Untouchables record from Corn, like I wore that out my freshman year of high school. I still have that CD that I have. It's all scratched up and everything, but yeah, man, like it's I can't imagine that feeling of like being on stage like you guys get to do and building your audience the way you do and to see people like singing something that you poured out of your soul back to you. Like that's got to be a beautiful feeling, man. Have you ever had any kind of like those like serendipitous or synchronicity type moments on stage where it kind of hits you like where you're like, wow, this is really like I'm doing this.
Yeah, man. I actually had two. I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. I had two of those moments this year. Um, the most recent one was the last show we played October 25th at Goldfield Midtown. It was a venue in Sacramento that sadly was one of the last shows. They're no longer putting on events there for the time being. But there was a there was a point in Summer's Over where if you've heard the song at the very end, it kind of drops down to clean guitar and vocals. And I was screaming it. And I figured a few people maybe know a word or two, but I held the mic out, as a lot of people do, just trying to be flashy or whatever. I didn't really expect to hear much. I heard so many people singing those words back to me, and it brought me back to the time I wrote those words, reach down from the heavens or pull me under. I was in a I was in the freezer at McDonald's, my first job when I was like 19, maybe not even 19. I was like 18. I was having like the worst day of my life, dude. I was just being hella dramatic. I was like, man, I don't care if God reaches down from the heavens or if the devil like pulls me under. I just want to be taken from this world. And I was like, wait a minute. I wrote it down on my notes app, and it just really brought me back to that time in my life and just how like it was a legit feeling, of just being frustrated and overworked and overwhelmed, and like feeling like getting that little flashback and then feeling all the love generated from the audience singing those words. And it's just, dude, that was one of the best moments of my life. And another one of those moments was on tour. We played a place called the Alpine in Reno with some great bands out there. Shout out Cyanate from out there, dude. They're killing it. Um, we got out there, and Reno is pretty far away from home for us. I think it's about 2.5 hours. So we didn't really expect anybody to be there. It was just us and Blackout and then some great locals, but you don't really expect a whole lot. And we got out there, the stage was brilliant. There's a ton of people out there. There's people that knew some of the songs. There's families out there. There's people moshing. That was such a cool moment because it was like the very end of tour for us. We were getting ready to go back into the studio and record another song right after that. It just felt like the fruits of our labors were finally there to some degree. We're not exactly where we want to be right now, but we've been working really hard. And you go that far away and you see, I think it was north of 200 people. I don't really know. Jay would probably know better, but it was just a beautiful thing, dude. It was a really sobering moment. It's like this is a possibility. Like we can actually leave home, Sacramento, and go out somewhere else, and there will actually be people there. It's really cool.
I appreciate you sharing that, dude. Yeah, like I think that's one of the powerful things about music, like you said earlier, like when you put your voice on something, like it's one of those forms of art that like and just like most people, and this isn't to like, like slam anybody who's not creative, but it's like most people, you go to your job, you clock in, you clock out. There's for some people there's enjoyment in, for some people it's like, hey, I'm doing this to eat. Um, and I think that's what's cool about being a creative, like y'all, man, as people who make music or people who make any kind of art, is there's a permanence to it. You know what I mean? 50 years from now, if somebody wants to find a Seaside Massacre song, they'll be able to listen to it, they'll be able to hear your voice, and it's cool to be able to leave that behind. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's not to like, juxtapose it with like, people in everyday jobs, but I think from like a source of meaning standpoint, like a lot of people doing 9 to 5s, man, like, and I'm one of them with my day job, and I work with like a great team. Um, but being able to have something that you leave behind like that, like, in your work and your daily life, it's your relationships, right? It's those relationships you have with your coworkers, your family, your friends, romantic partners, what have you. But I think that's one of the coolest things about music, whether you're fortunate enough to be able to do it for a living or not, or you're fortunate enough to be really awesome local band, and I've got friends that have great diehard local audiences, and it's like people 50, 100, 200 years from now they'll be able to go back and listen to that when everything else is dust. You know what I mean? It's really cool to be able to leave that behind.
Yeah, man, I think about that all the time. It's e- like people build statues, and that's great. My statue is an album, you know what I mean? If like you said, in 100 years when I'm dust and my family's dust, hoping all, but when everything's said and done, you can still pop on a record or whatever the heck it'll be, and probably like a Neuralink by then, but you can pop on a song and my voice will still be there. My friends in my band, my brothers, they're still playing the instruments. Like it's just like it was in 2023, 4, 5, whatever, whenever we recorded the songs. There's such beauty in that, man, such preservation in that. I love that.
For you as a lyricist, Don, was there before you started like playing shows, like even when you were younger, did you always kind of take to the arts or creativity in general? Like were you doing like any kind of poetry or journaling before you started like, doing lyrics? Do you still do stuff like that? I'm always curious with people who are into music or the arts, like if it was there when they were little kids.
Yeah, man. So I started doing a little bit of poetry in high school. Shout out to my English teacher, Mrs. Harvey, man. She was a very creative woman, and she always pushed, beyond just learning English and the rudimentaries of it, to be creative with it. And she'd always have us writing poems, and I'd always be like, another poem. But then one day she was like, just write whatever you want. Like it can be anything. So I wrote a poem about my first guitar. And I was like, this is sick. Like the words just blending together, just feeling right, like tickling your brain that specific way. And then that kind of snowballed into just, writing lyrics, just being able to really take what's in here and put it out in any capacity is always, a joy and a pleasure for me. So being able to take any feelings I have in here or up here or whatever and put them into something constructive that means something to somebody else potentially. That's what I do it for, man. Um, I do a lot of journaling. I learned in therapy that journaling is super, super important. And that definitely helped me be able to conceptualize the words that I'm trying to, articulate, as opposed to just keeping them in here. I can actually physically write them down and understand them. They're tangible. And, being able to do that. And then, I mean, most of my lyrics are super personal, personal struggles that I hope other people can translate into their own struggles. But being able to really take like a negative experience in my life or a negative feeling and put it into something is one of the greatest joys of my life, man. I can't lie.
Yeah, there's something about like the physical act of writing or just taking something and getting it out of your head. I honestly, I should be journaling daily because it would probably help with everything that's going on up here. Therapy's been a big help for me too, man. I would recommend it to anybody if they can. if they can do it and if they're open to it, because just being able to talk to, an unbiased third party, because as close as like my ride or dies are, man, like and I hope everybody listen to this, there's 5 or 10 people that you'd have in a dark alley with you, or you'd want there with you if there was a zombie apocalypse, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Beyond those people, like there's only so much advice even the people that are closest to you can really give you, compared to, I would say, like just like a professional counselor or therapist, people who know how to approach those things, and it's been a big help in my life too, man, these past few years, like a lot of people, with COVID and all kinds of stuff that's happened, like, and it's crazy that that was 5 years ago now, but yeah, I'm glad that the world, I feel like, is getting to a place where more people feel like they can talk about it, especially men. Because I really do feel like a lot of people would still be here, or be in a much better headspace if they felt like they could express themselves in a healthy way instead of turn into, whatever negative outlet, substance abuse, you name it. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that the therapy has been good for you and that you're journaling, brother.
Yeah, man, it's very important. I think everybody should journal, honestly, whether it's 2 sentences a day, you could write a damn book. It's up to you. But whatever you got in your heart, man, you got to get it out. You got to find a way. Like you said, man, I love that you touched on men's mental health. Everybody's mental health is important, entire spectrum, but it really does go unsaid a lot about men's mental health and just the public eye. We're seen as protectors and providers, and we're meant to be strong all the time. And you don't always have to be strong. It's okay to be weak. You can have your moments of weakness. It doesn't make you a weak person. Being in tap with your feelings and your emotions is the strongest thing I think anybody can do. And it goes without saying that, like you said, it's being able to get those negative feelings out, whether it's writing, whether it's singing, screaming, anything, man. Like I think that's so important. And I hope anybody listening to this knows that, there is always a brighter day ahead. You know what I mean? There's always a way to get through whatever you're going through.
Well said, dude. And is there anything like I mean, obviously journaling in music and expressing yourself vocally, but for you, Don, like anything that helps you kind of get through that you feel like would be beneficial to somebody out there struggling this, what, like you said, male, female, however you identify, just things that you feel like are kind of universal, or could be, I guess, for somebody. I mean, obviously we're not, doctors, but and this is an entertainment podcast, but yeah, I mean, especially, this will be at the start of the year 2026 when people hear this, like, um things that consistently help you get through like darker times or darker days.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, the last couple months I've been hitting the gym like a lot. You can't really tell. I don't got the meat like you do, Mike. I see you, brother. But but that's been a big help lately, man. It's like anything you go through, if you can go and get some aggression out. I'm not a counter to popular belief, I'm not really that aggressive of a person. But when you do get those feelings and you can go pump a little iron, do that, or even just take a run, just go out for a walk, anything like that to really get that blood flowing, and it kind of declouds your brain, man. I can't speak enough about, physical health going hand in hand with mental health. There's been times in my life where I can feel my mental health slipping, and I'm like, I gotta get back in the gym. And even if it's temporary, even if I don't stick with it, like I have been, thankfully, it always gets me to a better place than I would have been if I didn't try. But I think talking with anybody, you know, talking with people you love, talking with people you trust, I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people skip out on. A lot of people feel like they have to suffer through things alone. They feel like they can't be related to. I promise you, if you reach out to somebody, reach out to, the people that love you, they will understand. Whether they've gone through it or not, they will listen to you. I mean, hell, you can reach out to me if there's anybody listening and they're like, man, I don't have anybody. You can reach out to me, man. I get it. I'm sure you can echo this sentiment, Mike, but like I've been through the ringer and a half, brother. Like I have felt the lowest of lows in my life and the highest of highs. I'm always here to listen and help anybody that needs that. And hopefully my music that I make with my brothers can help, guide people through that time as well. But it's very important. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it.
Well said, dude. Yeah, and I appreciate you saying all that, man. Yeah, because movement, physical activity. Getting in nature, that's been a big thing for me. Tennessee's a beautiful state, and there's a lot of cool play. As much as I love the music scene and stuff in Nashville, like just working in the city 4 days a week, like it's nice on the weekends to just decompress and like go take a walk. And like I love getting out in the middle of nowhere. Like the older I get, I'm like I like going and getting lost for a little bit. I mean, not like literally, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but getting in nature and yeah, physical movement. Like growing up playing team sports, I always enjoyed that. But now that I'm older, like I mean, I'm not trying to hoop now at 37, man. I'm
You still got it, man. You still got it.
a hammy for sure, dude. I'll be on one of those videos like overtime or something. Like, look at this dude, still got it, and just could barely make it up the court. Uh, no, yeah, like exercising is a huge help, man, and that's one of the reasons I heavy music too, especially like I mean I nerd out. I love the lyrics, the artwork. I've started collecting vinyl. But yeah, I mean, as meatheady as it might sound to some people, yeah, when you just go like lift some weights and the release that you get at the end of it and how much better you feel at the end of it, and then when you start to see results. But that music's a big motivator, man. Guys like you with the pipes, with the voice, you put somebody like you in the headphones, man, and it's motivating, and it's a healthy way to get out that aggression. Um,
Absolutely.
that's one thing I wish people knew more about heavy music, because I'm sure you've met people like that, man, whether it's just in work or life, just people have that short fuse. And it's like, dude, like if you listened to some heavy music and took a walk or just did some push-ups or pull-ups, man, you probably feel better.
That's it, man. That's all it takes sometimes. Just knowing what you got to do and going out and doing it. Having the heart to go out there and be like, I'm having a bad day. I'm really pissed off. Let's go pump some weight. Let's go listen to some freaking deathcore or whatever, let's put it on and let's get it done. I think it's why live music is so valuable too, man. It's such a beautiful space where it's like, our genre kind of attracts a lot of, like, I guess, outcasts. Not to put in, it's not, I don't mean that in a negative way, but a lot of people that, I guess society doesn't accept quite as willingly as other demographics, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of people feel isolated. And coming out to a show, it's like just one big gathering of a family, whether it's a small room, whether it's a big room, it's all family for however many bands, for 4 or 5 hours. You're just in there with your family, man. And that's the beauty of live shows, is the people around you can understand you. The people, not only whether they look like you or not, like whether they're your age, 10 years old or whatever it is, like they all just kind of get it. Like we're all there for the same reason. We want to get our feelings out. We want to have a good time. And that live shows, dude, I think live shows saved my life, man, when I was younger. Like I think that whether it's a local show too, because a lot of people get scared off from local shows, and I get it, whatever. Some people only like the big concerts, but it's just go out and listen to some bands, man. You'd be surprised at what it can do for you.
Yeah, and those local shows are great. I would encourage anybody to do it. Shout out Frankie's Inner City in Toledo, man. Like and my buds and Tropic Bombs are the bumper music on the show, and they would put on Midsummer Meltdown shows, and everybody would come dressed up in like beach gear, because they were like they kind of like took reggae and metalcore and hip hop and rock and like threw it all in a blender. I give them plugs every time I can on the show because they're sick. Shout out to Ryan and the boys, but like Frankie's is one of those venues in Toledo, like everybody and their brother has played over the years, man. Everybody from like POD to like the Smashing Pumpkins, the White Stripes, like it's got a rich music history, but there's been so many great local shows there. And it's cool, man. Like I've been fortunate, and I'm sure you too, like where you've gone to shows, like I love to get there and see the openers. I remember seeing Death Punch open for Disturbed back in like 2008 on
Yeah.
the cycle, and that was at Bogarts in Cincinnati, Ohio, like this old theater that Live Nation had purchased. And in a few years, Death Punch was that arena band that was like putting other people on like nothing more and stuff. And so yeah, I would encourage anybody, man, get out to the local shows. And speaking of releasing aggression in a positive way, and thanks again so much, Don, for taking the time, dude. You guys did a sick cover of Destroy Everything from Hatebreed, man. Like when I was listening to y'all's catalog, and I heard that infamous bass line to start. I'm like, dude, they have nailed this. But then I watched the music video and it looked like I was excited to talk to you about this. I didn't know if you guys were in like one of those like I'm trying to think what they call them, like those destruction rooms where like you can just go and smash stuff up. But I thought it was so cool how you had like fans and stuff in there and everybody was like having a good time. It was that looked like was like such a good time, man. But how did you guys decide to one do that as a cover and then two like that was like the perfect music video for that song? That was like peanut butter and jelly, man.
I appreciate that, man. It was a lot of fun to do that too. Yeah, they are called Smash Rooms. Shout out to I think it's called Smash Live. Ooh, Mickey's not gonna be happy at me for forgetting the name, but they're great people. They put on live shows there too, and that's such a sick room. But yeah, so uh, we were going through it about a year ago, talking with Mickey and the whole band and Tiffany. We're just like, they want us to put out a cover. They were like, I think it'd be a great idea from a marketing standpoint if you guys did a cover, because we've never really been a band that does covers. We've always been super phoned in on live, or not live but originals. And we were like, all right, cool. Like, what can we do? Because we all have similar music tastes, but we're super dramatically different as well. Like Jake's into really old school like metalcore, like mid 2000s metalcore. And me and Dylan are into more kind of modern metalcore, like Boundaries, Counterparts, and Rex is into, we're all into different stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to find that overlap. And we were like, well, who do we kind of sound like a little bit? Or, like who do we really draw inspiration from? And the one constant was always Hatebreed. One of the best live bands out there. Jamie Josta is like all about the music, he's all about the business side of it. Headbangers Ball, dude. He's the GOAT, dude. Um, but we were kind of trying to figure out like what Hatebreed song could we do. We wanted to do a popular one. I mean, they're all popular, but we wanted to do one where people would understand it and be able to sing along, but it wasn't just like if you're gonna cover Metallica, you do Enter Sandman. You know what I mean? So we settled on Destroy Everything because we jammed in. We're like, I think we could do this. And we went in with Tom, our old producer, and him and Nick Miller actually kind of teamed up on that one. Shout out Nick Miller, man. He is the guy from a Skylit Drive. He records almost all the great bands out here. He does Blackout stuff, does a Moment's Notice stuff. But they kind of teamed up on that one, and that came out really sick. We were really stoked on it. We were really just trying to pay tribute to the original while also trying to carve out our own little path with it. We didn't want to step on anything that they did. We didn't want to change anything because it's perfect as it is. We just kind of wanted to put it through our own little filter, if that makes sense. And the song being called Destroy Everything, naturally we had to destroy some stuff. So what better place than a rage room in Sacramento? And we went in there. We brought some of our friends with us. Everybody you see in that video is just like friends of us, friends of our band, whether they just enjoy the music and come out to the shows, or it's people we've known for 10 plus years. Like, they all lent us their time. So grateful for them. Mickey's son actually is the one that recorded that. He's the behind the scenes guy. He's the camera guy. He did everything, man. He's the guy. And we're super stoked on how it came out. It was way better than we expected. We were like, I don't know, are we gonna look cheesy breaking stuff? And it actually came out really cool. So we were stoked on that.
Yeah, dude, that was like the perfect concept for that. And the views, I'm trying to remember what it was on the video. Like, I mean, it was tens of thousands. I mean, I don't know, it was 20, 30,000. I mean, that's sick, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it's been a great launching point, dude. Like, shout out Hatebreed, shout out hardcore music in general, like, first of all. But it's been a great launching point to this like new era of our band. That trailed into First Blood, which was our most recent release right now. And we have 3 songs that we've already recorded that are not out yet, that will be out sooner than later. That we feel like we're just really trying to, this next year is just all about elevating, taking the next step. This song's great, let's try to write something better. This song's great, let's keep it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you read my mind, dude, because that was the next one I was going to ask you about was First Blood, because just in a few months, I mean, we're recording this a little over, I think, 3 months to the day that it came out. It was like September 12th.
Hmm.
Um, Artwork for the single is sick, but again, like a really awesome music video, really cool, like lighting in the video. A couple of those scenes with you, like close up on the mic and like that black kind of ominous background, but then like kind of like the top light that was bright. Like it turned out awesome, man. And the song is a banger. Like what has it been like to see the reception for that one? Because I feel like outside looking in, it seems like that one's doing really well for you, and it really is a killer song, man.
Yeah, man, it's everything to us because we wrote that song because we just wanted a really pissed off song. We wanted to write. We have a lot of melodic songs that are coming down the pipe, and we just wanted one song to just really get that aggression out. And we're super stoked. That was the first full song we recorded with Nick Miller, and he really brought that to life, man. He gave us all kinds of great ideas, and Alan in our camp as well. He helped us, really bring that to life, and we're just so happy that people like it. To be honest with you, like you never know, kind of stepping into like a newer era, a different sonic presence than what Shells was. You never know if people are going to like it or if they're going to be like, they're doing this or doing that. But it seems like people like it so far. I see people beating the stuffing out of each other every show to it, so that's that's always a positive, man. We've been super stoked on the reception though.
Yeah, I mean, just in a short period of time, like I have Spotify, man, and just it's just seeing those numbers. Like on Spotify right now, it's almost at like 20,000 streams. And I know sometimes it's like you don't want to get caught up in the numbers, but at the same time, it is cool to kind of to see that as a band that's like on the come up like you guys are to in just in a few months time too, dude. Like so congrats on that. And shout out to the music video for Shells too. That was a cool one as well, man. That looked like a lot of fun. And I love how you guys bring the live element into the music videos too, man. Where you're still jamming out. And that one looked like a really good time too. Was that like was part of that like a rehearsal space that you guys use a lot? I was kind of wondering the setting for that.
So that one was very unique. That was our very first music video. We had no budget. We had nothing. So we had Tom, our old producer, actually come out and record that for us. I bought one of those little gimbals you can control. And we Dylan hit up our bassist Dylan, he hit up his friend Amanda, and her parents were doing like a renovation. They live up in the mountains and they're doing like a renovation on the bottom story of their house. And it wasn't quite finished yet, obviously. And we're like, that looks pretty sick. I think if you can let us borrow that for the day, we'd be grateful. We could really do something with that. So we moved all of our stuff down this big old hill, down these two flights of stairs, crammed it all in that room, brought a fog machine, the lighting, super DIY, super punk rock, like spirit of it all, you know what I mean? And, we got down there and we did, I don't even know, like 5 or 6 takes of the song all the way through. I was redder than a beet at the end, man. I was sweating, man. They call me Tomato Dawn in the streets. And it was sick, man. We were really happy with how that turned out. Super thankful that it came out well. I did all the editing myself. I sat down and just all that, and it, if it had a budget, maybe it could have been better. But for what it was, we were super stoked on it.
Yeah, man, like everybody starts somewhere, and I think that DIY attitude, like you almost got to have that. And yeah, the energy in that video was awesome, man. And before we wrap it up, Don, and thanks again so much, dude, for taking the time to do this. I feel like I could talk to you for like 4 hours, but I don't want to chew your ear off. But you touched on a little bit ago, but this show that's going to be coming up, that this podcast, I'm hoping is a good lead in for y'all. You said that you're going to be your first headlining show at this particular venue.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Goldfield Roseville for all the locals in the sax scene. Everybody knows that's like the big venue for us. They're Chad's out there booking all the great bands there. Shout out Chad. Shout out Eric, man. Those guys are so grateful. I'm so grateful for them because they take care of the local music scene. We get these giant packages that come through and they'll go to Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades is another great venue out here, but it's owned by Live Nation. So, it's super rare for a band to actually get on at Ace of Spades anymore. Moments Notice actually just did like 2 months ago. We all came out and like celebrated it. It was like a big win. But yeah, man, Goldfield and Roseville is like the big venue that you want to try to, get into. And we've had the opportunity to play there a couple times. And thankfully, Venom and Vixen, they booked a show. They call it Brutal Winter. They do it every winter. And Mickey came to me about 2 months ago and he's like, "Hey, how would you feel about, maybe headlining this and helping me kind of pick out the lineup?" I was like, "Do you think we're ready for that?" And he's like, "Oh, you're more than ready." I was like, "If you think we're ready, then we're gonna get it, baby." So so we took some of the more established bands in our area. Shout out HellHeart. Love those guys to death. Those are our brothers. And then we brought Resider back up from San Diego because we just played with them in October. Shout out Resider, dude. One of the best live shows I've seen. Them and everybody on Overshadow right now is killing it, dude. Joe's got a killer team right now. But we wanted to bring some more established acts, and then we wanted to bring in some of our friends and give them an opportunity to play there. Still Counting, one of the other bands on the bill. It's their first time playing there, And those guys are so good. I actually got a chance to record a song with them last year, and got nothing but love for them. And shout out Mythnautica, shout out Trachea, everybody on the bill. It's a loaded bill. It's super cheap. It's like $10. Why would you not come? You know what I mean?
What a way to start the year too, man. Like that's a big way to start the year. And you kind of teased it a little bit. I don't want to let anything out the bag that you guys aren't ready to reveal that's going to be revealed in due time. But you mentioned having some songs in the bag. So what can you tell me without spoiling anything? And I don't want to get in trouble with VMV, but the plans for 2026 in the first part of the year beyond the show. Is there anything that you can tease a little bit? And again, I don't want to get you in trouble and I don't want to get in trouble, but how excited are you, Don, for 2026, man, especially with the momentum that you guys are already building?
Dude, once again, full body chills right now, dude. 2026 will be summed up in 1 year or one word for us, which is expansion. We're going for it. We're trying to really just swing for the fences in 2026, man. We've got brand new songs coming out. A lot of them are already recorded, some of them not yet, but soon to be with Nick Miller. Shout out again, Nick Miller. And we got some crazy stuff that I unfortunately can't talk about right now, but really, really cool stuff. We're going to be teaming up with some great people. Got some really crazy shows planned. It's going to be a fun year, and I am super super thankful for anybody that's ready to come on the ride with us because we're going 100 miles an hour. So buckle up.
And lyrically, you mentioned First Blood being like a different direction than Shells, and it sounds like you really write from the heart, man. Like even the songs that I've gotten to listen to and going back through y'all's catalog, man. Uh Shells that kind of sound like you said each song was sort of like exploring grief, different members of the band. Um, can you tell me a little bit about kind of where you're coming from with some of these new releases? Are they still very personal, or are they still kind of more conceptual?
Yeah, they're all personal, except for one. One is a conceptual song about the Heaven's Gate cult, and that song will be out pretty soon. That's one of my favorites. That one was actually kind of a something I did to challenge myself to see if I could write from a different perspective while still maintaining the same, level of consistency. I'm happy with how it turned out. Hopefully, everybody else will be too. But yeah, these are by far the most personal songs I've ever recorded in my entire life. It's like an emotional journey every time we get in that booth, man. Nick's coaching me in the in ears and everything, and he is just bringing our band to a different level with these songs. I'm just so thankful that I have such a great team around me right now, and my guys are killing it. Everybody's playing so well, and there's so many great people around us that are supporting us, and it really reflects in the product. I feel like we have great creative control right now, and just super stoked on how these songs are going to turn out, man. I think people are going to like them.
And you mentioned you know, music being a catharsis, lyric writing being a catharsis, journaling being catharsis. Can I ask you, Don, like was there kind of a turning point or a tipping point for you where you kind of look back on now and you're like that was a real before after moment in terms of dealing with things in a healthy way, like you are for music and you know for people that might be on the cusp of that, like is it just one of those things where it's like you push through the fear and kind of do it anyway? Like I'm just curious in your journey, man. Like it sounds like you've been able to take all the negative stuff you've been through and really translate it in a positive way. And I just wonder, like, was there a definitive kind of tipping point or turning point for that, or was it kind of like a gradual thing that happened over time?
Yeah, man, I feel like it's more of a gradual thing, to be honest with you. There wasn't really like one day where it turned on. Back in 2021, I started going to therapy like full time. Shout out to my therapist, Judy. Man, she changed my life, dude. I can't say enough good things about her. But yeah, it's a very gradual thing. Like my philosophy is we have one life. We can only do this one time. Whether you believe in reincarnation, whatever. It's not why I'm here. But I uh I get one opportunity to really live this life, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to do it. And I won't let fear hold me back. I'm not going to let anything hold me back. And I really try to put that out there so other people can see that and draw inspiration from that. And I want people to know that it's okay to be vulnerable. Like me being up there on stage, sweating, turning red, screaming my lungs out. That's the most vulnerable version of me, and I'm very thankful that I can share that with people. And whether you want to do that too, that's sick or not. If you have your own way, like it's all about just really being able to be vulnerable and understanding what you got to do to get to the next step.
Well, Don, I think that's a great place to put a button on it, man. Like I really enjoyed talking with you, and I've been really wanting to do this for a while, brother. And you know, checking out the calendar and seeing the shows and seeing that you guys had this one come up in January. I'm really happy I was able to get you on, man. And you're welcome back anytime. And we'll have to do a part two as all the awesome stuff for Seaside Massacre starts to unfold in 2026, brother. But I really appreciate the time, and I'm and I appreciate you shouting out. Was Mrs. Harvey? Did I lock it in? I remember it.
Yep, yeah, that's right. Miss Harvey, man. She was the GOAT. She still is the GOAT. I still have her on Facebook. She'll see this.
I'm glad you mentioned your therapist, Mrs. Harvey. Like, V&V, all these people, and that's I think that's a positive thing to leave people with too. Like, for all the bad and the gnarly stuff that's in the world, and sadly, that's the stuff that seems to get pumped a lot of, whether it's social media or the news. You can look, anytime you turn on TV or social media, you doom scroll and see this the worst stuff. But there's good people like you. We always remember the people that made us feel good, man. And I think that's so cool that you shouted that out, because it's like, I think in the long run, people, that's what they remember the most. They remember how you made them feel, whether it's music, a teacher, those people that believed in you when maybe you felt like nobody else did, a therapist that really helped you out. Shout out John, my therapist. He's awesome. He's helped me get through some gnarly stuff mentally, man. So yeah, I think that's an awesome place to leave people with, dude. But I'm excited for you, Don. I really appreciate you giving me an hour of your time. Like I said, I could probably talk to you for 4 hours, but I want to be respectful. And we'll get you back on for a part two. But you have an open invite whenever you want to come on. I want to tell everybody, go listen to Seaside Massacre. Uh, Please continue to run up the numbers on First Blood. Go check out their sick cover of Hatebreed, and I'll have the links in the podcast description, Don. But for people who maybe this is their first time finding out about Seaside Massacre, let them know where they can find you, dude.
Yeah, man. We're on all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram. We make funny skits sometimes on TikTok. So pop over on that one, Spotify, Apple Music. If you can think of it, we're probably on it. And if you're like, oh, I bet they're not on this one, guess what? We're probably on that one too. Yeah, keep eyes on the YouTube. We got some crazy music videos coming out this next, 6 months or so. So yeah, keep eyes out.
Well, Don, it's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate the time. I'm genuinely excited for you guys, and a big fan of what you guys are doing, man. And it's just cool to see people, putting the work in, but also seeing the fruits of their labor. Like even that story you shared about, being on tour and seeing people somewhere you'd never been, jamming out with you guys. Like just as long as you love it, man, keep doing it. But I think the future's bright for y'all, dude.
Much love, Mike. I appreciate your time and having us on here. I appreciate that you do this podcast, dude. Like, this is such an important forum, and very, very grateful for you having me on here. Thank you very much, brother.
All righty, dighty, there you have it. That was my conversation with Don Turner of Seaside Massacre. Make sure you go follow these guys on Instagram at Seaside Massacre. The links to all of their stuff will be in the podcast description for this episode. So you know what to do. Scroll down to the bottom of that podcast description, hit those links, and go follow and support my new friends in Seaside Massacre. Once again, if you're into metalcore, if you're into hardcore, if you're into metal, headbanging, you will love these guys, especially if you're a fan of bands like Hatebreed, Terror, August Burns Red. You heard Don shout them out in the show as well. They're in that wheelhouse. They're in that vein of music, man. So really hope you go listen to and support these guys. Their latest single, First Blood, is out now, available wherever you get your music. Go back and listen to their EP Shells, run up the numbers on the music videos, go check out their cover of Destroy Everything for Hatebreed. And like we talked about in that episode, the music video is sick and a lot of fun too. And if you are in California this Friday, January 9th, they are headlining at the Goldfield Roseville for Brutal Winter 2. That is presented by Venom and Vixen. And it is also going to feature HellHeart, Still Counting, Mythnautica, Trachea, and friends of the pod, Resider as well. So once again, that's going to be this Friday, January 9th at Goldfield Roseville in California. So if you're out there or if you're on the West Coast and you want to take a little road trip, Go check these guys out, man, because it's going to be a heck of a show. From everything Don talked about in the conversation, and also some of the information that I looked up. I know Bad Wolves has played there. Shout out Doc Coyle, former member of Bad Wolves and multiple time guest of this podcast. Bad Wolves have played there. A bunch of people have played there over the years, and this is a big deal for Seaside Massacre to be headlining, man, at that venue. So, shout out to all the bands on the bill. Shout out to Venom and Vixen. So once again, the links to everything will be in the podcast description for this episode. So if you're interested in checking out that live gig, you can scroll down to the bottom of the podcast description and hit the links and find it all out. And I just want to say directly to Don, dude, it was so awesome to finally get you guys on the show. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I greatly appreciate all the kind things that you had to say about the work that I'm doing with the podcast and connecting with people and just mental health and music. And I really appreciate it. You know, it means a lot. I don't do what I do because I'm seeking, you know, compliments or affirmations from people, but it is cool when you connect with people just through a shared love of music and mental health, and you bring people into that space. And that's really what I'm trying to do with my life, even internally in 2026, is just put more of my energy into positive rather than negative, and create new friendships, new beginnings, and new habits. And this conversation, I couldn't think of a better way to start off the new year. And as I'm saying that, I'm looking at the clock right now, and 3:33 is on the clock, and I see that number every day. That might be trippy for some people. You might not believe in that kind of stuff, but anyway, in terms of numerology and angels numbers and stuff, it's wild. I see that every day, and I'm doing the intro and close to this show on the 3rd of January. So anyway, as I'm saying all this, positive vibes, signs from the universe. So I appreciate you, Don. I appreciate your band. I appreciate the conversation and the time and all the kind words. And I'm giving all the love right back to you guys, brother. And I hope that you have an amazing 2026. I can't wait to see more of what you guys have in store. I know you teased it a little bit, and I certainly didn't want to spoil any rollouts that are going to be official this year on this platform, but I do appreciate the time, brother, and I'm really excited for you guys. So, everybody, go follow Seaside Massacre once again at Seaside Massacre on Instagram. The links for everything that they're doing are going to be in the podcast description. If you did enjoy this podcast, and Don and Seaside brought you here, and this is your first time, one, welcome aboard that pirate ship. And two, if you would take the time to like and subscribe to the show, tell a friend to tell a friend, leave a rating and a review on whatever streaming platform you're listening to this right now as it's hitting your eardrums, or if you're on YouTube and you're doing the audio stream on YouTube, leave a like, follow the show. All of those things go a really long way in helping the podcast rank higher in these algorithms that kind of rule the world, and it helps the show get out to more people. And ultimately, that's what I want. I want more people to believe in themselves. I want more people to know that they are loved, they are worthy, they are worth it. I want to put more people on to awesome bands like Seaside Massacre. So all those little things that you can do that I just mentioned go a long way in helping get these conversations out to more folks out there. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this show. We are in the first full week of 2026. So, again, take baby steps. Sometimes we set really lofty goals at the beginning of the year, and we kind of can get into that all or nothing mentality. And then if we don't reach them, we just kind of go back into those old ways. I'm trying to think of what they call that, where people have like, there's a name for that, where like you have these New Year's resolutions, and then within like 2, 3 weeks, they're all toasty toast. So try to build momentum with at least one positive step every single day. I mean, obviously, I'm not a doctor. Um, I have a degree in communication with a focus in journalism. This podcast is for entertainment purposes. Take my advice with a grain of salt. But just in terms of things that have worked for me and positive changes that I've been able to make in my life over the past couple of years, really, that's all it is starting with good habits every single day, one by one, and giving yourself grace, but also holding yourself accountable. So here's to discipline. Here's to positivity, love, and light going into this new year. Keep the faith and be kind to one another. I hope that this is your best year yet. I love you all. Courtesy of Seaside Massacre, here is their latest single, First Blood. Peace.
Cries will come to nothing.